Welcome to the Neighborhood Ford Store Steelers Extra Point, presented by BetMGM.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome inside the KDKA TV studios. Happy holidays. Steelers with a dud today. On the day after Christmas, 36-10, pasting. It wasn't even that close. Quite frankly, they were, to quote Jim Nantz, sleepwalking all the way through this game. Bob Pompeani, Chris Hoke, we have a lot planned, but your opening statement would be what?
It'd be what these guys went out there, and every single level of this game, on defense, offense, special teams, it was a struggle for the Steelers. They went into Kansas City, and they left themselves in Pittsburgh. And we got to break this down, Bob, because at so many levels, the Steelers failed today.
Failed at just about every level, no question about that. And that starts at the top with coaching. Once again, flat to start a game. We'll detail all of that. We have Mike Tomlin and his post-game press conference, player interviews, and more, plus your calls all coming up here as we just get started. Final today, 36-10. That should be reversed. Chiefs over the Steelers. So the
Wish
Steelers,
it was that.
Yeah, it could have been that. Maybe that's a nice little Christmas stocking stuffer they never have it. 7-1, and they're on life support, quite frankly, I think, when it comes to a playoff spot. And even that, you wonder, where are they going based on how they've played? We'll talk about that and more as we continue live right here on Pittsburgh CW. This is the Extra Point Show. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Neighborhood Ford Store Steelers Extra Point, presented by BetMGM.
All right, welcome back to Pittsburgh CW. Bob Pompeani, Chris Hoke with you for the next hour and a half. 36-10 your final. The Chiefs smother the Steelers. And again, this game was not that close. It could have been 56-0, quite frankly, the way the Steelers played. Right from the beginning, it was a problem. And they came out like they have come out for the large part of this season with absolutely no enthusiasm. Apparently, it looked like no preparedness. I don't know how else you can come to a conclusion other than the fact that they were awful. Once again, in the last 5 games, they have failed to score a touchdown in the first half of games. That hasn't happened since 1940, and it pretty much sums up where the Steelers are right now. They have nothing to start games. So, Chris, yeah, players aren't executing, but what kind of coaching game plan is there going on here if there is nothing at all early?
I'm at a loss for words, because you think about it, in the first half over the last 6 games, the Steelers have been outscored 114-19. There's something going on here. The lack of preparation for these games. The players are not prepared to go into the game and come out with emotion. To be jumped on this much over the last month and a half is inexcusable. And we've got to figure out what's going on. There's 2 games left, and I cannot believe that we're saying that the Steelers may have a chance to get in the playoffs after what we've seen over the last 6 weeks. But if they play like this, they're going to lose the next 2 games, Bob.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter if they're playing like this, what they do if they get into the playoffs, because quite frankly, it will be an early departure, you would think. Not to try to take anything away from people who are optimistic about maybe getting a chance of getting in, who knows, but the bottom line is their play has been bad at all levels. And I don't know about you, but I thought the player of the game, and this says a lot about where they are, is Corliss Waitman, their punter, who's the punter who came in because of the Presley Harvin situation, and our condolences to his family for the loss of Presley's dad. Tough situation, but bottom line is no good performance, especially early in the game.
Yeah.
You know, I thought 29-0 was bad when I saw that Vikings game. This one felt worse in the first half.
And I thought it was going to be Deontay Johnson. I thought in the first half he was the only bright spot of this offense. They come in the second half, and the very first play of the second half, the Steelers get a 3-and-out. The defense on the Chiefs, the first one of the game. Deontay Johnson, very first play, second play of the game, catches a nice catch. He option route, takes it around the side, and he drops the ball going to one hand. Bad fundamentals. To me, that's a lack of focus in a game like this from the guy who's supposed to be your number 1 receiver. And that's been really the story of this season, Bob. When things look like, okay, maybe we're getting some momentum here, things are going, they continue to step on their own feet and cause trouble for themselves.
All right, we'll talk more about that. We have Mike Tomlin's press conference coming up, but right now let's take a look at the game summary here, and you'll see how it all went down. It didn't take long. 14-play, 83-yard drive right off the bat, and they occupied almost 8 minutes of time in that first quarter to go up 7-0 on the Clyde Edwards-Helaire touchdown run. And then after Ben Roethlisberger was picked on a questionable just execution of a flea flicker or call of a flea flicker, it was Byron Pringle who got the first of a touchdown here from Pat Mahomes to make it 14-zip. And then the new kicker, Elliott Fry, had a field goal. And they just piled on after that. The touchdown to Pringle, that bothered me, the 16-yarder that you'll see right there. and that made the score pretty much out of reach at that point. The rest of this is just superfluous. But, Chris, Pringle made everyone miss. And it was almost as if there was a matador just here, just go ahead.
Yeah.
A flyby attempt at tackling. Everyone on that defense did it. It
was bad. I mean, Cam Sutton tackled the catch. I mean, that's the reason why they give a lot of cushion and a lot of space on the receivers so they can keep things in front of them and tackle the catch. Cam Sutton was right there next to Pringle, missed the tackle. Then here comes Minkah Fitzpatrick, full board. And you're always taught stride, shuffle, shuffle, explode into the runner and the ball carrier. He did not. He ran right by Pringle. Pringle cut back inside. There goes Spillane and right in for a 16-yard touchdown. And again, Bob, this is reflective of the Steelers story this season. Just breakdowns at multiple levels, and they have not been able to put it together. And that's why it's been a very inconsistent, at times, very ugly season and play for the Steelers.
Yeah, especially later in the year now. December record is 9-11 in the last 20 games in the month of December. That's not how you want to finish a season, and that's why we've seen collapses down the stretch here. Let's talk about a couple of things, and there's a long list, but offensive line, it continues to be a problem. I thought at one point it was developing as the season went on, and then all of a sudden it's not. And they have guys who are missing a lot of blocks. Poor Najee Harris, every time he seems like he's in a situation to get the ball, he's got to do it on his own. He's fending for himself, although he's missed some holes too. It goes both ways. But their offensive line was put together in this offseason with the thought that Ben Roethlisberger was coming back at age 39, and yet they relied on rookies, raw rookies. They had some injuries, yes, but that offensive line has been a disappointment, and it has to go through a big change in this offseason, I would think.
Oh, major disappointment, man. You're looking right here. You're starting two rookies. You're bringing in another guard. Dotson was a second-year guy. Trey Turner, free agent. So the only one that was really a holdover from last year was Chooks. And then you come into this game, or this season, and you look at it. It's just very inconsistent play, and it starts at the center. You've got to be stalwart, and you've got to be stout at the center of your offensive line. And Kendrick Green has struggled throughout the whole season. A converted guard in college to center and just has not been able to get it right. You saw he was pulled there late in the game because if he snapped the ball, he was beat on a quick swim. Ben couldn't even get the fakes going before he could turn around and get hit, fumble, recovered, taken down to the Steelers, within the 10-yard line. And again, reflective of the season there. But as bad as they've played, Bob, to me, I don't think the Steelers' offensive strategy has helped them out at all. I don't like this RPO strategy. I don't like the RPO calls. It's not really an RPO because Ben's not a threat to run the ball. So it's the offensive linemen it doesn't help them become physical and be aggressive and be committed to the run. And to me, that's something we could talk about this all night long.
Yeah, two specific plays really made me just curious, made me shake my head and do other things that I won't care to repeat. But the 3rd and 10 play, there was a terrible play call on that, I thought. And then what's worse, on 4th and 1, we saw a pitch to Najee Harris, which was 5 yards in the back. Nobody loves throwing before the line of scrimmage more than the Pittsburgh Steelers. On 3rd and long, and then on 4th and 1, you pitch it to him with two blockers, are wide receivers who don't know how to block. At least in my view, they don't know how to block. They're not good at it. What in the world is that play all about?
Well, I agree with you. Number one, bad play call. You don't run a toss. It's 4th and run, line up with a fullback in the backfield. You pay Derek Watt a lot of money to sit on the sideline and play and power football and pound the football and get the first down. 1 yard. But what happens is they come out in a bunch formation. They have Zach Gentry, Chase Claypool, and Raylan McLeod in a bunch formation, and they toss the ball. Bad play call. And they all miss their blocks. Chase Claypool's on the ground. Ray's almost on the ground. Zach Gentry's looking back at the play. And all the guys that were supposed to block were chasing Najee down the sideline, down the field. I mean, it's not going to work when you got guys missing blocks and that many guys. And that's where it starts and that's where it ends.
All right, Mike Tomlin is about to speak at Arrowhead. Let's go there right now. Hear his post-game comments. All right, we should be getting to him momentarily as he is approaching. This is a Zoom situation now. In-person questioning not permitted by the Steelers and the NFL largely this week because of the continuing COVID situation. So it is a Zoom hookup, so make sure you understand that as we go to some of these. They are fluid and they do change. We're attempting to get that right now with Mike Tomlin at the microphone following a 36-10 loss. They are now 7-1, which means they're going to need help. And even if they win their last 2 games, next week is an elimination game with Cleveland coming to town on a Monday night. All right, I think we got the hookup now. Let's go there.
Do enough in any of the 3 phases to give ourselves a chance. On offense, we turn the ball over. We've had our struggles on offense, but when we take care of the ball, we give ourselves a chance. We didn't. I think we had 3 of those tonight. That was catastrophic. We didn't get necessary stops on defense when we got put on the short field, and largely we didn't win enough of the weighty downs, possession downs, red zone, et cetera. Not enough splashing teams. This is a collective, players and coaches, man, we own this. Now we transition and we get singularly focused on our 2 division games. We can't cry over the spilt milk. It is what it is tonight. We understand that. We better center our focus and put together our best efforts in an effort to secure victory next Monday night. And so that's what we briefly talked about in the locker room. Had bumps and bruises associated with play. Trey Turner had a knee. Kay Green had a calf. And some other things not significant enough to speak of. I'll pause and open it up for questions.
Jerry Dulac.
Hey, Mike, how do you kind of stop what's been going on? It's been fairly lopsided, of course, on the road the last 4 games, and it's just you haven't had much of a chance almost from the get-go.
We hadn't done much on the road. I think you said it. We're taking too long to warm up to the environment. And so it's been an issue. Obviously, it's not going to be an issue coming up this week. We'll be at Heinz Field, but I acknowledge it's been an issue for us.
Joe Rudder.
Yeah, Mike, is there anything you can pinpoint it to, preparation, play calling, coaching, that you're getting in these big holes?
I'm sure it's all of the above. When it's as consistent as it's been, it's not one issue. It's multiple issues, and it's probably a bit of all the things that you suggested.
Brooke Pryor.
Yeah, Mike, Ben stayed in late in that loss to the Bengals in week 12. He said he came to you then and said he wants to stay in. How did you come to the decision to take him out late in this game?
We weren't going to let him finish on that turnover. We gave him another series. We went down and got something going, then we took him out.
Dale Lawley.
Yeah, Mike, there was a report earlier today that TJ was dealing with fractured ribs. Is that the case?
He's dealing with a minor injury. It wasn't going to limit his play or prevent him from playing in any.
Dejan.
Mike, Ray has gotten a lot of targets, had 8 more today. What's made him such a prominent part of this offense?
The attention that 18 and 11 gets.
Jerry Dulac.
Hey, Mike, when the offense with, how we talked about just not starting fast in the first half, it's just been a recurring problem. I know you just can't predict, draw up something to get it going, but what can you do?
I'm sorry, Jerry, you were breaking up. I could not hear what you said.
Yeah, guys, Mike, I'm not asking a question. Yeah. Please put your iPad or computer on mute, please. Jerry, go ahead.
Yeah, Mike, I said you've struggled getting going in the first half, as you said earlier. And I know you want to start faster, but how do you just change what's been going on in the first half offensively?
Like I said, it's a myriad of things, so it's going to require our attention, man. And obviously, by the next time we get in a road game environment, man, there better be some changes.
Brooke Pryor.
Yeah, Mike, you said before that there were stones to turn over after some other tough losses. Do you have any stones left to turn over to try to jumpstart something in the last 2 games?
We'll spend the first couple of days of the week looking at those options, certainly.
Joe Rudder.
Like you were thrown into a situation with your punter, how do you think he responded, and what made you go with him over the other guy?
We had exposure to Corliss. He's been a part of our program. He's got a relationship with Boz, and so the holding component of it was a component of the decision making as well. I thought Corliss did a solid job for us. We're appreciative of his efforts.
Dale Lawley.
Yeah, Mike, the focus has been on your offense not producing in the first half. Does that also then play into what's happening with the defense? They're spending too much time on the field.
No, we're not going to seek comfort in that regard, man. We got to play better in all 3 phases.
If you're not asking a question, please mute. Dejan, go ahead.
Mike, did you have any concern about the taunting penalty? Was it different than the one that got Chase Claypool benched?
I categorically disagree with it. I thought that Ray was signaling first down and he turned around to do so and the guy just happened to be there. I think we got to exercise some common sense.
Mark Caboli.
Hey, Mike, you mentioned Kendrick Green with the calf. Was it strictly because of his calf, or was it some of his play today that made you to sit him down?
He had a calf injury.
Joe Rutter. Okay, Mark Caboli. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.
Well, not many answers there. In fact, it sounded like Mike Tomlin doesn't have a lot of answers. Guys aren't performing. There are no answers. What do they do to change what has become a trend? They're the worst team in the NFL this year in starting games.
Coach Tomlin's a very seasoned coach. He's a veteran. He's been around this game a long time. He's been in the NFL, 15 years now or so. And so he knows what it takes to motivate guys. And every trick he's tried, these guys have not come out and started up fast. They've fallen behind. Like I talked about, 114 points to 19 in the last 6 games in the first half. And to me, the only thing you can say is they got guys playing in this field right now that are starting these games that are first-time starters. They're rookies, or they're guys that probably shouldn't be on a roster. It's because of so many injuries and because of COVID. You got guys playing right now that just haven't gone into an environment, haven't gone on the road and played in Kansas City. Listen, Bob, I've played in Kansas City. It's a very, very difficult place to play as a veteran, but as a rookie or a guy who hasn't played very much, I'll tell you what, it's dang near impossible.
Yeah, but this trend has gone on all season long. There's got to be bigger answers to that. You can't keep doing it, whether it's coaching strategy, how they script their plays. It's not working. None of it. We'll talk more about it when we come back. We're due for a break. We'll have more player reaction coming up, and eventually we're going to hear from you right here on Pittsburgh CW.
Welcome back to the Neighborhood Ford Store Steelers Extra Point, presented by BetMGM.
All right, welcome back as we continue here live. Pittsburgh CW. Chiefs dominated the first half. You see goose eggs again for the 5th straight game. The Steelers can't score a touchdown in the first half of a game. And when you do that, you are digging out pretty much all game long. And some of the stats you see in the second half are just that, gratuitous stats. And I think largely that's what we've seen in the second half of games for the Steelers. So stats can be misleading. So here's something that's not misleading. Ray McCloud has become the most targeted guy. Now, you heard Mike Tomlin say, quote, the reason for that, quote, the attention that 18 and 11 get. Do you buy that? I mean,
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I don't
agree with that. Here's the reason why. Is because they're running these RPOs, they call them, right? And Ben has to get the ball out quick, because if he doesn't get it out in rhythm, then what happens is you start having linemen that are downfield. And so the closest guy to him and the quickest is get the ball out to Ray McCloud. If you watch, when he throws the ball a lot of times to Chase Claypool, he just throws it up and the guy's pressing Chase and he's running down the field with them. Deontay Johnson, when he gets the ball, it's a lot of times those quick slants. It's the quick routes. And so the reason why they keep going to Ray is because Ben needs to get the ball out. And the offense that they're employing right now is not giving him the opportunity to hold the ball back there and throw the ball down the field. And that's why I believe, Bob, they either got to line up and say, we're running the football and come out in 2 backs and a tight end or 2 tight ends and run the ball, or come out with 3 receivers and a tight end and a back and throw the ball. Because right now, they are putting themselves in a tough situation because they can't stretch the field, but they can't run the football because the linemen don't know if he's running or passing. It's a tough situation here for the Steelers.
Now, here's another thing. Maybe it's a pet peeve of mine, but I don't know what we're going to say. Well, before we do that, let's go to the podium. We have Najee Harris, who is live right now. Let's hear what he has to say.
If you have a question, and we're going to call on as many as we can. Jerry Dulac, Post-Gazette.
Hey, Najee, it becomes a repeated problem. You guys are starting slow in the first half. I mean, has it become beyond maddening for you? What can you possibly do at this point?
To start faster? To start faster?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry, Najee. Yes, to start faster in games and to, avoid getting behind so big at halftime as you have on the road lately.
Yes, sir. Execution. I mean, we just got to execute. That's really the best thing I can say right now. But yeah, you're right. We are starting off really slow on offense, and it's becoming a problem. But we just got to find a way to just execute.
Joe Rudder trim.
And usually it's, it's not self-inflicted. You haven't really had that many turnovers lately, but then interception gets you in a hole. How hard was that to go through?
Interception?
In the turnovers in general.
I mean, if you really ever look at all of our wins, we win the game by not turning over the ball, really. And obviously, if we're starting to turn over the ball a lot, it becomes a trend of us just losing. So, it affects us, obviously, because it gives the offense, the opposite team, better field position. But just got to do better.
From prior ESPN.
Yeah, Najee, when it comes to starting slow, Tomlin kind of suggested that maybe some of it, at least on the road, is trying to adjust to the environment and that taking some time. Has that been an issue, or is it just the execution that seems to be holding you guys back in the first half?
I'll say it's just execution. I don't. It'd be kind of dumb to blame it on everything else other than us when we're in a week, whatever, later in the season. So, I mean, it's about time we point at ourselves rather than other X factors. So it's just something we got to get together as a team. I don't think it has to do nothing with anybody else but us, personally, individually. We just got to find a way to execute personally and individually, as a team. That's way.
Dale,
all right, again, not many answers there. You wouldn't expect it for rookie players like Najee Harris and a lot of the guys on that offense. And I can understand, if Mike Tomlin says taking too long to warm up to the environment, he's specifically talking about younger guys. But here we are, week 15 of this season. At some point, and this is not just about Arrowhead Stadium. This is about home games as well. It's about almost every game. And it's taking a long time. Now, if that makes it impossible to run a no huddle early in games, I guess I can buy that. But this is the same problem left and right, and it doesn't change much. And I'm wondering what has to happen for it to change. Nobody seems to have answers there.
I don't know if something can change, Bob. At some point, you got to say this is who they are. This is who this team is in 2021. But if you look back over the schedule, the last time the Steelers won on the road, Bob, was at Cleveland on October 31st. Of this last year, almost 2 months ago. And then you look at the other losses, and then they've lost since then, 41-37 against the Chargers. They gave up 41 points. Then they lost at Cincinnati, 41-10. Then they lost at Minnesota, 36-28. And then today they lose 36-10. Defensively, they're struggling. Offensively, they're not sustaining drives, putting the defense in very, very difficult situations. Because if you give up a touchdown drive, you want to give your defense a time to regroup, catch their breath. You can't go back out there and on the first pass of the game, throw a pick. You can't go out there and get a 3 and out, and then your offense gets the ball, and then you go out there and you get a 7-yard run, 8-yard run, and then your top number one receiver, who should be in the Pro Bowl, just fumbles the ball, right? That's not helping your defense, and they're not complementing each other, and this has been what's taken place all year long, but particularly on the road.
Yeah, and to your point, it happened again today, that 73-yard drive right off the bat. It took 8 minutes. Steelers get it back, throw a pick, they go right back down the other way. The defense is on the field an awful lot. We got to take a break. Back with more of our coverage of a Steeler lopsided loss. Another one on the road, 36-10, your final. They're 7-1. Need to win out, need to have some things happen as we continue right here on Pittsburgh CW.
Welcome back to the neighborhood Ford store, Steelers Extra Point, presented by BetMGM.
All right, we're back with more as we take a look at the JP Roofing final stats. And once again, I've said this for the last several road games, these stats are not indicative of how this game was played, with the exception of 3 Steeler turnovers, which was the exact opposite of last week when they forced 4 and gave the ball up none. This time it's reversed, but, the numbers evened out mostly because the second half was pretty much over. It was.
Yeah, I agree.
They had to come to.
I mean, look right here. Let me give you an example, Bob. Right here we have first downs, 25 KC, Steelers 20. At halftime, it was 17 KC, 6 Pittsburgh, and there was more of that in the third quarter until they pulled out Patty Mahomes. Then when they pulled out Patrick Mahomes, that's when the Steelers started making some ground and put in some backup defenders. So these numbers are not reflective of what really happened in this game.
Minkah Fitzpatrick is at the podium right now on the Zoom in Kansas City. We take you there now live.
Quick answer. I think we just got to go back, watch this film, this week's film, see what the problem is. Look up and down, how big we're down. I think it's more than one problem for sure. So can't pinpoint it right now. We want to go back and watch the game and watch the film. We'll have a more accurate answer.
Dale Lally. Yeah, Minkah, it seemed like you guys did a better job of not allowing the big runs in this game, but Mahomes was still able to hurt you, especially a couple of times you get out of the pocket. Is that when he gets in that kind of situation, what are your keys on the back end of that? How he, like the one time he came on the 50-yard pass to Hill, Joe had to come up because he scrambled to his right. Are you damned if you do and damned if you don't in that situation?
Yeah, you just got to look at the right things. Got a guy that's mobile like that and can hurt you with his arms and legs. Just gotta, if you're playing in zone, you gotta play your man all over the field. No matter where he runs, can't abandon coverage over quarterback running. So that's what we do.
Ready for the ball.
Minkah, how do you regain your confidence after so many of these games recently have been lopsided for long stretches, and especially when these games are so meaningful with, still have a shot at the playoffs?
I don't think we lost our confidence. I know for a fact that I haven't lost my confidence at all. I'm a professional football player. I'm going to go out there and compete. Whether we're up 40 or down 40, I'm going to go out there and compete. Play hard, play fast, play physical. If you lose your confidence, if you lose a few games, whether it's lopsided or not, then you're not meant for this sport. So I don't think anybody on the team has lost confidence. You know what I'm saying? We're professional athletes. We lose football games. We win football games and just attack the next week with a chip on your shoulder.
Joe Rudder.
And I'm sure there is a confidence level, but what's the frustration level like right now, the way these games keep getting out of hand so early?
Nobody likes losing. Nobody likes losing by 30 points, but it happens. You're just going to sit here and be frustrated and pout about it. It's not going to get nothing done. You have to channel your energy, channel your focus to what we need to improve, and that's it. Because emotions don't do nothing in this game. Feelings don't do nothing in this game. It's about channeling your energy into the right places, channeling your frustration into the right places, and moving forward onto the next week.
All right.
Minkah Fitzpatrick, part of a defense that is getting skewered on a road. The last 4 games, as Chris described earlier, they're averaging giving up 38 points a game. And today, Patrick Mahomes is what you'd expect. They're heating up. They've won their 6th division title in a row. That's pretty impressive stuff. He was 23 of 30 for 258, 3 touchdowns, no picks. And when he's on his game, it's very difficult to defend him, which is why you knew going in the Steelers had to score probably in the 30s. Yeah. And the way they started, you knew that wasn't going to happen today.
Yeah, especially when you turn the ball over 3 times, Bob. When you look at it, I remember talking before the game, thinking, hey, what are they going to do without Travis Kelce in the game? Well, Patrick Mahomes does what every other good quarterback does. He finds another open guy. And today, the recipient of that was Byron Pringles. Byron Pringles went out and did 6 for 75 for 2 touchdowns. And a guy that really was not heard of in the season up to this point, it was Tyreek Hill, who only had 2 catches, and Travis Kelce. So that's what good football offensive teams do, and that's what they did to the Steelers today. But the Steelers didn't give themselves any help here. Turning the ball over, not being able to get off the field on 3rd down. We can go on and on and on, but these are reasons why the Steelers fell behind so quickly.
Kansas City scores 36. They pull Patrick Mahomes, all without Travis Kelce, who did not become eligible because of the COVID situation. That says a lot about what the Steelers had on their plates today. We'll take a break. When we come back, you're going to hear from number 90, TJ Watt, who was pretty much rendered useless in this game, basically because they were so far behind so early. Very difficult to make plays that way. 36-10 your final score. Chiefs improve to a point where they're going to be one of the top teams, if not the top team in the AFC heading into the playoffs. We'll be back with more right after this.
Welcome back to the Neighborhood Ford Store Steelers Extra Point, presented by BetMGM.
All right, we're back here until 9 o'clock. Bob Pompeani and Chris Hoke with you. We take a look at the scores today, and Boy, Joe Burrow has established himself as one of the top quarterbacks, certainly in the division and in all of football. He threw for 525 today. 3 receivers went over 100 yards, 41-21. So the Ravens, down to Josh Johnson, had problems in that game. Buffalo goes into New England. They badly needed that win, and they got it. So they now have the lead in the AFC East. And, you know, for a brief moment there, it looked like the Steelers were in the playoff picture because the Chargers were losers, of all people, to the Texans, 41-29. Ben Roethlisberger is standing by live right now. Let's hear what he has to say.
Hey, Ben, you know, it's kind of getting repetitive here to keep asking about the slow starts and being down in a big hole in the first half. Where are you with that? I mean, can you know, you have 2 games left. Can you turn it around? Can you change some things? What's happening?
You know, it's getting repetitive for us to try and answer it, trying to come up with an answer. I don't know. If I had an answer, I would have done everything we could to get it fixed. You know, we got 2 games left, but none are more important than the next one. So we'll do everything we can to try and get it fixed.
Joe Rudder.
Yeah, Ben, the fact these things keep happening on the road, you know, what's the frustration level like that? And why do you see this continually happening?
Well, Joe, like I just said, I don't have an answer for you, but it is frustrating. Obviously, we want to be able to go down the field and put points on the board. You know, I don't know. I don't have an answer. I'm sorry.
Dale Lawley.
Yeah, Ben, on the interception, did the wind take that? Did it slip out of your hand? Were you trying to, or what were you trying to throw there?
Yeah, we had obviously a flea flicker called, stepped up quickly, and I saw Ray, and it sailed on me a little bit. I'm not going to blame anything but myself.
Brooke Pryor.
Yeah, Ben, after the Cincinnati game, you said that you stayed in late because you wanted to show, you know, fight and resiliency and everything. How did you guys come to the determination for you to come out early the last 2-3 minutes and have Mason go in for that last drive?
That's coach's decision, his call. He asked me to, you know, told me I was out in the series before, and I asked him, I said, I don't want to be done. I want to keep going. He said, okay. And then when we came off, he told me I was done, and there was nothing else I could say about it.
Dejan?
Ben, before he went out, Ray was your most targeted receiver. What's made him a prominent part of this offense, or is it more of the other guys being taken away?
A little bit of both. You know, Ray is very shifty and quick. Finds ways to get open in man coverage. Really good like that. And you know, they're doubling Tay and Chase a lot too.
Joe Rudder.
Sorry, I didn't have anything else.
Okay. Jerry
Hey,
Dulac.
Ben, where's the confidence level? I mean, you know, you're not just losing some of these games on the road. They've been awfully lopsided. I mean, how much does that eat into, you know, the guys and the way they feel about themselves and their ability to perform?
Yeah, it's frustrating. I think for myself, been doing this a long time. You'll have games like this. You know, we've had more than we went through this year, but I think the other part of it is we also might be young enough that guys just don't, you know, it doesn't sink in a good way, if that makes sense. You know, I think sometimes, you know, when seasons like this, games like this happen, sometimes lack of experience is better.
Anyone else? Mark Caboli.
Hey, Ben, there's still 2 games left and you still can get in the playoffs. How do you relay that message to some of the younger guys that even though it looks bleak right now, there's still an opportunity?
Yeah, there is. But it doesn't happen if we don't get one. We got to get one win coming home. Big game Monday night, 2 divisional opponents. So let's focus on this one. And that's going to be my message. I'm sure Cam is saying the same thing is let's focus on one game, one opponent, trying to get one victory. And, you know, let's just see what happens after that.
Okay, Jerry Dulac.
All right, you heard Mark Cabali ask Ben Roethlisberger about the playoff picture, which is very much clouded still, and the Steelers do have a chance. However, they were briefly in it because of the Chargers' lopsided loss to the Texans, which was surprising, and now here they are on the outside, and that tie is going to hurt them in a lot of different ways here. So, you know, they got to win both, and they got to hope some things happen, Chris, as you look at this.
Yeah, when you look at this, even after all that's happened over the last 6 weeks, that for the Steelers to still have a chance to make the playoffs if they win the next 2 games is unbelievable. but they've got to fix the problems that they have. They've got to be able to control the football in the first half and